Welcome to another edition of the Gridiron Report. I'm Jared Johnson. I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. Well, mighty Joe, 34-10, Texas Tech went out and made a huge statement. They've arrived at the national stage as a football program on the rise. But overall, man, first off, how are you? And then what was your overall takeaway from Tech's great performance in Utah?
Yeah, doing great. And that performance in Utah helped my outlook on the world a little bit, I must say. That was very impressive. I thought Texas Tech would win. Yeah, I think we all thought that Tech would win, but we thought it would be a pretty close game. And it was for three quarters. But, man, boy, they just put the blitzkrieg on them there in the fourth quarter and opened up that game very, very impressively. And, yeah, as you said, everybody has taken notice now, and Texas Tech is on the scene on a national scale, unquestionably. The thing is, they've established themselves as a very, very good football team, and so the expectations are a lot higher now. They're this team. Like, okay, man, you showed us what you can do now, what you're all about. There's no excuses. So, I mean, that's going to bring a little bit of pressure with it itself. That may be the biggest challenge for the rest of this season.
I thought it was interesting in your Jaeger shots. You talked about perhaps how successful of a season this becomes depends on how Texas Tech handles the puffery. I've never heard that term before. My son calls it glaze. I don't even know if I could say that on here. It doesn't sound right. The youngsters, I call it, hype. A bunch of hype. A bunch of people telling you how good you are. Texas Tech's going to have people telling them how great all their fat little girlfriends, as Leach used to say, whoever, rat poisoning, all that stuff. I've seen it myself, that it affects teams, especially over a 2-week period like this. Don't take a team like Houston very heavily. You go out there and they hand it to you. You know what I mean? So that is, to me, the challenge. I thought it was interesting in your rapid fire that you kept the same record, 10-2. I thought I was going to be the only one to do that. I did as well, because now everyone's like, we want Bama. And you know what? What's funny is that's not as crazy as it sounds after seeing the defense play. Like, I think that is the thought is, you can get through the Big 12, get to the Big 12 championship, win it, get to the college playoffs, and then like Arizona State did last year, give somebody like a Texas or a Alabama or whoever, your best shot and let the chips fall where they may, and then maybe keep going forward or whatever. But it's mission accomplished at that end. But that only happens if you can handle the puffery.
Yeah, that's right. And, I was very tempted to bump up my record from 10-2 to something else because, I mean, they look better than that. They look like they shouldn't lose in the regular season, so the temptation would listen so many times in the past. I've been burned.
Me too.
By changing up my record, and so I'm stubbornly digging in my heels here and saying 10-2. But I mean, frankly, I'll be a little bit disappointed.
I know.
I expect more than that now. So, so just to cover myself, 10-2.
I'm with you. And it's there's still 2/3 of the season left. Attrition will happen. All those things. You're the hunted. How they handle puffery. I want some more questions answered before I'm willing to bump up the record, because 10-2 would be the best season in a long time around here. That being said, that defense has me saying, what defense is better? I mean, if you look at all the awards, let's start with J-Rod, team captain, all Big 12 performer, really All-American. I wouldn't trade him for anybody in the country, Joe, at linebacker. I mean that. I don't watch everybody all the time because we're working. I'm going to watch a lot more this weekend, though, with Tech on the bye.
Exactly.
But I would not trade J-Rod for any other linebacker in the country because of what he means to the team and just how he performs at such a high level. And when the team needs a big play, he always seems to be there.
Yeah, exactly. And now this was the first game, that Utah game, where he was actually sort of pressed into serious duty because, I mean, those 3 cream puffs they polished off in the first, the linebackers
defensive line just
they just swallowed them up. So there wasn't anything going on at the second and third levels. But with Utah, there was a little bit. And so, although J-Rod was a little bit quiet in those first 3 games, didn't put up huge statistical numbers, you saw once he got a chance to make plays, he was making them. And he put up that massive All-American type of a stat line.
11 tackles, a half a tackle for loss, a forced fumble, and interception to seal the victory.
Yes, that's right. So I mean, you know what he can do, man. You know what he can do. You don't have any questions right now about that front seven.
No.
No, I mean that's there's a better front seven in college football. I don't know who it is. So you kind of the only question at all is on the back end of the defense because they haven't been tested yet.
Not a lot.
They haven't run into a serious passing attack. It's to me with the defense, that's the only major question right now is what's going to happen when they see a team that can really throw the football. What's going to happen next?
Right. Well, they'll give up some yards just because of the nature of football. Sure. I mean, nowadays. But that pass rush, I mean, David Bailey and Romello Hyde are ranked as like the 2 top edges of the country right now. And I think before I skip around, I want to circle back to this, the whole pass defense as a whole. But David Bailey, he got a sack. Romello Hyde generated so much pressure on Devin Dampier. But that wasn't the most impressive part to me. The way they set the edge in rush defense, I was shocked. Yeah. I mean, I knew they were strong. I knew they were good players. I knew they were good pass rushers. But you know what else it tells me? That question is, do these guys really care about each other or are they just hired mercenaries? And I've been kind of guarded against because the things I've been hearing, I've been doing this a long time. And you can't trust sound bites and stuff like that a lot. But I had a long conversation with Romello Hyde at Big 12 Media Day, and he broke it down yeah, money matters and this and that. And of course, that's what got me here. But once I got here, I saw the facilities, saw the team chemistry, the coaching staff. He said, look, I didn't even negotiate what they offered me. It was a good number, but I didn't take it. I had 3 other schools. I had Georgia, this and that, all wanted me. They were all offering big money. I didn't even take Tech's initial offer and go negotiate. I didn't renegotiate with Texas Tech. I just said, I'm good. This is where I'm supposed to be. And when guys like Romello Hyde and David Bailey play selflessly against the run and set the edge, that tells me they care about Texas Tech. They at least care about each other, and they care about winning.
Yeah, well, that's a good way to win on defense.
Yeah.
They're setting the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, particularly against that type of an offense where they are going to go off tackle with the QB option and so forth and so on. I mean, you've got to funnel everything back inside, and they've just done a great job of that all season long. And John Curry is another guy.
John Curry.
Key in terms of that aspect of the defense. Yeah, he's going to be as good as J-Rod in his own way.
Do you think so? Oh, in his own way, okay.
Yeah, in his own way.
That's high praise.
Not this year necessarily, but I mean, when J-Rod is gone, Curry, we assume and hope he's still here, he's going to be a monster as well. But yeah, in terms of setting the edge, all those guys, just an outstanding job.
And then we mentioned how good the defensive line is and looked, and we thought it was the strength of the team coming into the season. It was clear. But I think they look better than I thought. Guys like Skylar Gill-Howard, I mean, he was an absolute terror against Utah. Yes, Lee was doing his thing. Lee Hunter was doing his thing, gobbling up offensive linemen, blowing up the run, the interior runs, and he didn't get a lot of stats. But Skylar Gill-Howard was running around like a man with his hair on fire, just a bowling ball, just knocking pins down, destroying everything. Skylar Gill-Howard looked like right next to J-Rod is the best player on the field on defense, and that is a mouthful because he had a lot of standouts. Bryce Pollock looks like the shutdown corner is advertised. I mean, 3 interceptions in 2 games, and also him and Balfour never hesitate to help out in terms of taking on the blockers and the perimeter screens or any perimeter runs. I mean, they are physical corners who can also cover and tackle well.
Yeah, that's right, and they're all very well schooled. Coached.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about Shulwood and the great job he's doing, and it's justified.
Yeah.
Because you can tell this defense knows what they're doing out there. And you got a whole bunch of new guys with these transfers, and they've put it all together very, very quickly. You just don't see busts and missed assignment. Now, I know a couple of guys got loose on the back end.
Sure.
1 touchdown call back and another one that was open. They overshot him. But for the most part, the defense is playing very, very assignment-sound football and very confident in the way they're playing. And, as they say, a clear mind equals fast feet.
Yeah.
So they got the clear minds, and they're playing fast. They're playing
and physical. Yes.
And so, it's all working out as planned.
I want to remind some people on that play that, look, I have to look at it again. I only saw it during the game and a couple of replays during the game. But on that long touchdown that was called back, you have to realize that a lot of the defensive backs, not all of them, but a lot of the defensive backs and linebackers, they read their cues from what the offensive line does. Right. So if an offensive line is coming out 3-4 yards past the line of scrimmage blocking, you're reading run and you go. Yeah. So that might explain why you got, I don't know, I'd have to look. But that was my first thought, was like, this is an anomaly. You haven't seen guys get behind this defense. I don't think it's a coincidence that also they read a cue that the lineman had fired off. So, I mean, good thing it was called back because that is an important play. That is an important infraction.
I mean, that's why it's a penalty.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You know, why else would it be? I
right.
mean, it throws off, it fools the defense into thinking that something is coming that is totally different from what's actually happening.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you could get away with that, they'd be doing stuff like that all the time. So that's why that penalty exists.
Yep. With Cole Wisniewski and Brendan Jordan at safety, they're playing great. Yep. Brendan Jordan had his best game as a Red Raider. Physical, yeah, he got a pass interference, but it was just one of those, like, if he had been a fraction later, it wasn't a pass interference. I know a lot of Tech fans were saying it wasn't. I think he got there instant early. But that just shows how physical he's playing. He made some great plays in run support and in pass defense. So that was kind of like, okay, is Brandon Jordan ready? Does he measure up with the rest of this defense? Tell you what, he looks pretty dang salty. I wouldn't want to take a hit for him running full speed. Right, so especially after you get past the first and second level of all those monsters, and all of a sudden you got this missile that's either Wisniewski or Jordan. I mean, that's ridiculous. So we could do a whole video on the defense, which I think we kind of did. Let's go ahead and go to special teams real quick. Jack Burgess, Stone Harrington. I mean, what a great performance. I mean, they absolutely A+ special teams. Both of them were lights out. That 50-yard kick, that was huge, a huge point of the game. And then obviously Burgess constantly flipping field position with his great kicks and pinning Utah inside the 20.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, Texas Tech had a ton of penalties in this game, but were there any on special teams?
I don't remember, and that was a problem in the first couple games. Yeah,
absolutely, it was a problem. So that's another thing that Kenny Perry he's got cleaned up.
Yeah,
at least he was clean in this game. And you know, that field goal, 58 yards. That's the second longest field goal in the program history.
Yeah, I believe it.
We remember the other one, right?
Yes.
Carabay.
Yes.
62 or 63 yards
Iowa State.
against Iowa State
to
win that game.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's and it was good from
65.
Yeah. Like that. It was. I didn't know he had that kind of dynamite in his foot. He sure does.
With Stone, the problem has always been consistency and accuracy. Yeah. His leg has always been there. That's why he was a kickoff specialist prior to becoming the place kicker. So it was funny when the TV was saying that. At the same time, I was thinking he has the leg. It's just if he kicks it true. You know, like I've seen him do it in practice a lot. So, I mean, I get that Joel Klatt, you can't scout every kicker in the country. He sees a long 47. Oh, maybe he doesn't have the leg. No, Stone wasn't given the opportunity because he hadn't earned it with his consistency he has. And voila, huge kick. So, and like you said, shout out to Kenny Perry for continuing to be a great special teams coach for Texas Tech.
Yep, and Burgess, man.
What a great kicker, man. What a great punter, I mean.
And they covered it, too. I mean, they were down there all the time.
Yeah.
Nailed it down at the one time, and then, what was it, 4 other times beside that inside the 20. I think most of them were down close to the 10. So, I mean, hopefully with Texas Tech's offense, you're not going to need Burgess too often. But, yeah, he was called on in this game for the first 3 quarters anyway. He absolutely delivered.
It's good to know that Tech can win in multiple ways, not just by, like, you know, a shootout on offense, or not even just like by your defense being amazing. I mean, you got a kicker who's got the capability of kicking something 60 yards, so you have that in your back pocket. You can also use your punter as a weapon and play field position, you know, if you have to. If your offense is struggling, whatever, which it was for a long time against Utah. So before I get to that, because that would have been a good transition, I just want to say the return guys have done a much better job. That's something we've complained about a lot in the past, about hidden lost yardage by not fielding punts. I thought both Tristan Gentry, who's just a young freshman, did a good job in doing that. And then when there was like a hands type team call, Coy Aiken went in there and did a good job of fielding a punt too. I really like that they have that, again, versatility to win in a lot of different ways. So special teams, A+, defense, obviously A+, offense. Look, I actually liked a lot of the scheme and play design dialed up by Mac Lefwitz. A lot of the times when plays didn't work, it was when a guy got whipped up front, or the skill position players, just didn't get the job done. They didn't execute. I mean, there was only 1 or 2 plays where I was like, scrap that for the rest of this game, or that didn't work. Most of them was there. I thought Mac Lefwitz did a good job of offensive line for the most part, outside obviously the penalties. I think that was on Joey McGuire. I believe that. Hopefully, lesson learned. I don't think that'll ever be a problem again in his career. He's that kind of dude. But that was a huge mistake that could have cost them the game. Luckily, it didn't. Trying to think. But for the most part, Howard Sampson got beat by their great pass rusher.
He's going to beat a lot.
That's one of those. To me, that's what I was kind of chalking up. Is like I thought there was times when Barron and Will, of course, who wasn't like he didn't. I don't think he got sacked or was pressured that much at all. Got to stand back there all day against a Utah defense that a lot of people were saying is really good, and I thought they played good for a while. But what was your overall thought of the offensive line and then also the play calling by Mac Memphis?
Yeah, well, the good thing about the play calling is that eventually, I think maybe late in the second quarter, Leftwich got around to running the ball straight at Utah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of the problems earlier in the game, except for that first touchdown drive, was just going to. I mean, you were going with Barron deep on a very regular basis, and everybody likes it when you're aggressive. But I mean, it's a high risk, high reward thing. If it doesn't pay off, you're behind the sticks, and you make it so much easier for the defense. I think once again, late in the second quarter, they found the run and started hitting straight at them again, and they didn't let up for the rest of the game. They found something that worked and stuck with it. So I thought that I was pleased to see that happen. In the future, maybe you don't wait that long to actually give Cameron Dickey and Jacoby Williams a few more cracks in between the tackles. So I saw that aspect of it. And as far as the offensive line, I think once they were given the shot to actually drive block against those guys, they actually showed they could do it. And we had questions about that.
Yeah, I had huge questions. I didn't think they were going to be able to do it.
I didn't think I was saying, if Tech could run for 130 yards, they're in really, really good shape.
Yeah.
Which isn't a huge number, but, it's decent against that kind of because they ran for 173.
Yeah.
So.
Well, holding Utah to, 101 or something like that?
Exactly. Yeah. They came in rushing for 290. So.
Wow.
They obviously won the line of scrimmage. Kyle Whittingham said, Utah coach, I never would have dreamed in a million years that we would lose the line of scrimmage in this game, but we sure did.
Oh, they got completely dominated in the trenches. I mean, and especially late, like you said, I thought it was clear to me the game plan was to kind of shock Utah, take advantage of some one-on-ones, and then after the defense was worn down, run the ball. And that's what I didn't anticipate was Tech physically leaning on Utah and wearing them out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I just we're not used to Tech being like that. We have to recondition our thinking about this team and this program. That's for a video of another day. But we got to talk about the quarterbacks. I mean, Barron threw a couple of interceptions. Both of them were underthrown. A lot of the false start penalties happened when he was in. But, of course, Tech was winning earlier, so the quiet was naturally quieter. The defense, Utah defense, was a little more tired. All those excuses. But I'm a bottom line kind of dude, man. Bottom line is Will Hammond went in there and was dealing. With 13 for 16 for 160-something yards and 2 touchdowns. He also ran for another 60 yards, which Utah clearly was not prepared for. Believe it or not, these coaches are unprepared at times. McGuire was clearly unprepared for just how loud the Utah fan base was going to be at Rice-Eccles. And Whittingham was not prepared in his defense for the way Will Hammonds was such a dual threat, despite him already having like a 60-yard run on film this season. Right. So what did you think about how Will Hammond played and what it meant to the offense?
Yeah, I mean, nothing against Barron. I've been a Barron Morton guy from the beginning, pretty much. So, but I mean, on this day, Will Hammond was the better quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody could see that. You can come up with all the excuses you want, but I mean, look, the offense was much more dangerous when he was in the game. That's the bottom line. And so, I mean, it's a one-shot deal, one game. I'm sure Barron is going to start against Houston, assuming that he's fully recovered and healthy and good to go. But I mean, look, Will Hammond is a guy that if you have to go to him.
Yeah.
And when it was funny, when Barron got hurt, obviously felt bad for him about it.
Yes.
But I was confident that Hammond would come in and at least equal what Barron was doing, because Barron hadn't had the best day by any stretch of the imagination. So I was like, Utah fans were probably like, oh, well, we got it now. We knocked their quarterback out. And I was like, no, I'm sure you may be, this may be a blessing in disguise for Texas Tech. And it was sort of.
It also helped to kickstart the running game. They really kind of dedicated more to the running game for a while. We're going to have more on the quarterbacks, but ultimately, look, this is a huge win for Texas Tech. They arrive on the national stage now with a little bit of legitimacy. 4-0 to start the season for the first time since 2013. You open Big 12 play on the road against a ranked opponent and win that game. you're looked at as the favorite in the Big 12, and possibly, I mean, if you're number 12 in the country, you're one of the best teams in the country. So their probability for making the playoffs went up like 14 and something percent. I'm going to have to trust the math because you don't want me to do the math. But bottom line, it was a huge win. It was a statement win. And, you know, the thing is I don't think they scratched the surface. I mean, there's a lot of room for improvement, Mighty Joe.
There sure is.
All right. Well, I just want to say one more thing. Mighty Joe had a great story. He's going to have another one on Texas Tech basketball beginning practice. The schedule's been, Big 12 schedule's been released. That's why I'm wearing my Texas Tech basketball hat. I normally don't wear Tech gear, as you know, with this stuff. But Red Raider Outfitters, where you can get this. Great hats. They sponsor this channel, sponsor the radio show. Really appreciate what they do for us. But the bottom line is they have great gear, great Tech basketball gear. They're gearing up. So exciting times here in Radioland, Mighty Joe.
Absolutely.
All right. But as always, great stuff from you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for watching, and until next time.